Welcome to part 12, I believe it is, of the Enlightenment, October the 11th, 2022. And as I was saying, women aren't even supposed to braid their hair. And certainly not supposed to braid your marriage. Men or women. But in today's society, you want to make bruplets and we're not making an omelet here, people. You're not supposed to add cheese and meat and peppers and onions and everything to your marriage. It's a twineship where two become one. Just like with Jesus, where two become one. We become one with Him. And we get to sit down in His throne with Him. I don't want to be separated from Him anymore. I don't want to willfully disobey Him. I don't even like accidentally disobeying Him. Like spaghetti and sandwich. If He says eat spaghetti, you eat spaghetti. If He says eat a sandwich, you eat a sandwich. It does matter. Obedience matters. I may not always get everything right away, and it may take me a moment. But if I do something wrong, it is not on purpose. It's because I didn't know, or I didn't realize. Because if I realize, I'm not going to purposely do something wrong. I won't purposely disobey God or His Word. I told you all I can't remember if it was in the Enlightenment videos or if it was in the segment before of just armchair chat about the walls of jasper and sardine stone, but it was in some of the more recent videos anyway. I won't always be here on these videos talking and doing more videos. But these videos that I have done and that I'm doing will always be around. And they're full of a mother's love for her children. Because I love you all. And I just want you to come home. Because it's supper time. So wash up, children. Make yourselves clean for supper. Don't be like these little foolish people out here who God invited to the wedding supper. And they made excuses. Or who that man invited to the wedding supper and they made excuses. Jesus is inviting people to the wedding supper. Don't make excuses why you can't attend. Because those excuses this time won't work. You'll be destroyed for making them. Yes, that's what they did. They made excuse and they didn't want to come to the wedding supper, and they said, I married a wife. The one did. The other said, I bought a field. Let me tell you something. You and your wife are going to perish together. You and your field are going to perish together. These are not excuses. These are stupidities. So you bring your wife to the wedding with you. There's ways around these excuses. The field can wait. There's not always going to be a wedding, especially one like this. This one is going to be oh so spectacular. You've never seen a wedding like the one you're about to see. You don't want to miss this one, trust me. And you definitely don't want to come not in a wedding garment, because you will be bound and cast into outer darkness, into the flame. Yeah. So you definitely want to be in your wedding garment, spotless and white as snow, whiter than some snow. You don't want to be like the snow that the dog peed in. That yellow spot on your garment will not look nice. You don't want to look like the bride that rolled in the hog lot either. If there's no condemnation for the things that you are doing that are sin. See, when you do tattoos and piercings, you're changing the image of God. When you wear makeup, you're changing the image of God. When you have all these surgeries, you're changing the image of God. When you do these things, if you feel no condemnation for them, you're reprobate. God has turned you over to reprobate. Now you are hearing that these things are sin, and if you continue in them, you're responsible for them. Pharmakia is sin. If you continue in it, it is sin unto you. You're damaging the temple of God. If you continue to drink and to vape and to smoke and to chew, to cuss and to carry on, and to tell you little dirty jokes, or you continue in your pornographic material, or to watch your things that have all these bad things in it, after you have been told, now these things are wrong, it's on you, it's not on me. If you continue to support homosexuality and transgenderism, it's on you, it's not me. Because those things are abominations. And if you continue to support an abomination, you are abominable yourself. And you will be destroyed. It's getting ready to happen. Now I've just been trying to just talk to you. Person to person. Just like we do, we did at Bible study. But here's another little thing for you that was hurting me at Bible study. Here's what was hurting me. People would talk about their temptations. And different ones throughout the room would agree with them. And I would sit there and break inside. And I would call out to the Lord and I would say, Lord, what's wrong with me? And I would be very perplexed. How come I didn't go through that, Jesus? I would say. Why didn't I go through that? Why is it temptation is not like that for me? No, when temptation comes to me, it's met with this. That doesn't belong in my kingdom. So I just booted on back out the door. It's easy as that. But this doesn't belong in my kingdom. That doesn't belong in my kingdom. So I throw it right back out the door. And I don't think about it anymore. I just go my way. And I never even realized that was temptation until I was at Bible study and people were saying these things. And I was like, oh, is that what that was? I thought that was just the devil trying to torment me with junk. I didn't even really realize a lot of the times what temptation was. People talk about food and how much they love food and how we're supposed to do this and how we're supposed to do that. And I was like, Lord, that doesn't seem right to me. Why do they love food that way? I began to think, maybe I don't taste food the way they do. Maybe I don't taste food the way that other people do. It's clear I am very different from everyone, Jesus. What's wrong with me? I am very different. I am very different because I don't belong here. I'm not from here. I came from heaven. Jesus sent me for such a time as this. But, I was talking a little bit about the book of Daniel in chapter 12. It is Michael who cast Satan out of heaven. Michael and his angels cast Satan and his angels out. What if Satan was a woman? Hmm. But it couldn't be, right? And here's how I know. Because the serpent was male. And how do I know that? Because God, Jesus, in the beginning when he was talking with Eve and he was reprimanding her for what she had done, he said, woman, thy desire shall be toward thy husband. Not toward the serpent. Not toward another. Toward her husband. Now, why would God need to tell her her desire should be toward her husband if adultery wasn't what was introduced there into the marriage? And if it wasn't adultery, how then did she bear the seed of a beast? Part man, part animal. How do you think centaurs and whatnot like that became to be? Oh, yes, they exist. But how do you think the first original ones came? Not like today, where science is creating the chimeras these days. Still an abomination and still against God. But then you get these little abominations here, and they have a soul. And we live in the age of grace. But somebody's got to preach to these creatures, right? That's why the Bible teaches to preach to all creatures the gospel. Because you don't know who may or may not be a Nephilim. Yeah, even living right beside you, because they're going to look like you now. Science has done a good job, wouldn't you think? Witchcraft, abomination, science, who says there is no God. See you in the next part.